welcome to the Escapart Podcast. My name's Stuart and thank you for listening. I apologise for being tardy in my updates. There's been one or two things happening recently that have been distracting me, and believe it or not, they haven't been training for world records or rehearsing for performances. What I will do is first of all give a massive shout out to everyone that was at Doomsday North or the event at Whitby recently, where I had the pleasure of boring you senseless by doing some strength escapes, some strength magic, and it was absolutely wonderful to see the reactions on people's faces, and it was absolutely incredible to feel the vibe in the room as people were genuinely fascinated and interested in the effects I was performing. It was a genuine pleasure, and you have no idea how invigorating it was to be given the opportunity to perform in front of you. And in case you're wondering, we're not talking about people who, for those of you who've never been, this isn't a small event. There are a great number of very prestigious people there, incredible amounts of talent, incredible amounts of skills, and it's an absolute pleasure to have seen the look on their faces as they were very kind in their praise. Also, another big shout out to everyone at the United Kingdom Escape Artists group, and also at the Ties Society for their wonderful newsletter that came, the chain letter that arrived recently, and for the write-up of the recent UKA event. I really do wish I can get over to the United States. I am putting things in place, no promises, but I will hopefully be able to go over there maybe in 2017. But it all comes down to the day job, the bookings, and also the fact that I have a family. I have a very loving and caring wife who pokes up with me doing these eccentric things, and obviously whilst it'll be awesome for me, I have got to take into account I will have people with me who perhaps don't really have the fascination for bent bits of metal or tennis balls that have been ripped open, or perhaps even, dare I say it, card tricks. So setting aside caring, setting aside trying to do the right thing for so many people for so many reasons, I just want to update you on how we're going with the world record. For those of you who haven't been following, the world record attempt is coming along. We've got a date now. 2 world records will be attempted on the 2nd and the 3rd of July. June has already passed. I am 4 weeks away. That's the 2nd and the 3rd of July 2016 at Magic at the Barn in Rochford, and that is 4 weeks away. And what we're going to be trying to do is do some strength magic, and with that I will be bending frying pans into tubes. Now, the frying pan has to be a set gauge of thickness, it has to be a set diameter, otherwise torque will play a factor, and equally they have to have a certain circumference when you finish with them. In this case, imagine a frying pan twice the width of your fully extended hands, and that's roughly the maximum size it can be. So maybe you're looking for maybe 20 centimeters, 25 centimeters. So the width of your hand plus half as much again. Now imagine turning that into a tube that has to fit inside an average sized mug of tea or coffee. The whole pan has got to be bent round into a tube that will slip inside the circumference and fit into that mug. That is what I have to do 16 times in 1 minute. And that, of course, is a little bit anxious because I'm the weakest I have been ever in my life. I have never felt this weak in a long time. I'm really struggling. I'm struggling with motivation. I'm struggling with the physical demands of it. And then throw in the other record we're going to be attempting. Throw in the fact that I will also be bending iron bars. Now, we're behind the curve on this one because, unfortunately, we can't do the one we originally wanted to do, which was me bending iron bars using my head as the anvil. The reason for that is I tried it in practice, and I now know what it means to be a hard-boiled egg. I felt my skin buckle, and I felt my skull begin to crack. I felt parts of it flake, and even if that's not quite correct, even if that's just the hair moving across your scalp, when your brain has processed it and told you, no, you're breaking your skull, there's no coming back from that. Once you've defeated yourself, once you've had that moment where you go, you know what, I'm not going to do this one. No, something in the back of my brain, literally the back of my brain, is telling me not to do it. And I've tried other ways. I've tried using my forehead in some sort of martial arts style action. I've tried everything I can conceivably come up with, but unfortunately I can't find a way around this one. So I'm going to have to try and work blind on a record attempt. So we haven't even got the rules back from Guinness yet. Time's running out. So I will be going in with about 3 weeks to go and a completely different set of rules. And that's the first part of it. So I'm woefully unprepared for what I'm facing. On the other side of it as well, we have a whole series of other technical issues. Because in August, I'm going to be performing at the Dixon Studio in Southend as part of As This by Magic. And I'm working on an escape for that. But I'm also working on a challenge for that. So more news on that in the next few weeks. But equally, I'm hoping to break the kettlebell record, world record. So that's most weight lifted in a kettlebell lift. There's one problem with this, is that would have to happen in early August, and time is running out for the training on that as well. And I don't want to do it in September, and I don't want to do it in October, and the reason for that is personal to me, because I've got plans for October, and September is a time when I would rather not be lifting weights. I've tried it before and it never sits comfortably. So it's all a case of, when do we do it, how do we do it, how do we plan it, when do we get going. But they're all secondary to other news. And the other news is, last week I had a genuine pleasure and I got to go to the Southend Film Festival. And I got to watch a short documentary produced by a good friend of mine, Mr. David Fox. And David took the raw footage of one of my world record attempts from last year, and he managed to turn it into a brilliant small documentary, and we're going to try and get it up on YouTube so you can watch it on the Escapart channel. But it was a genuinely uplifting experience because, to be honest, I've been a bit low here and there. I've not been enjoying things as much as I should. And you think, well, why aren't you enjoying it? You've just come back from Whitby, you've got this film premiere, you've got all these other things happening, and the reality of it is that if you're doing all this and you're not happy, then you're not doing it right. And it's true, there are things that have been happening that I've not been happy about. There are things I can't change, but equally this isn't the podcast for that. That's for a private therapy session. But those people who know me know I've been a bit distant, and that's partly because I'm doing the records, but also because things have happened elsewhere and I'm not entirely happy with that. So that's given me the motivation to lift their weights and go after more things. But the bit of sunshine, the ray of sunshine was last week, because I got the opportunity to meet a very talented performer in Jay Spades. And I've met him before, but it was a good opportunity to sit down with him away from training or talking magic. It was just a nice opportunity just to sit down and chat for 10 minutes. It was an opportunity to watch this documentary, and David has done a fantastic job with it. And it was an opportunity to let my hair down and just not be there doing my day job, not be there having to be at this point, and bring that bit of equipment, this bit of equipment. It was and is memorable and enjoyable. And if you get the opportunity to see it, if you get the opportunity to watch the documentary, please do. If you get the opportunity to watch any more of David's work, please do, because he is an incredibly talented director, editor, performer, and all-round excellent guy. And equally, it was just a pleasure to be part of a wider experience away from magic, away from weightlifting. It was nice to do something a little different. And that brings me round to last bit of news. Hopefully end of August, in addition to the Dixon show, I hope to be at the Magic Circle giving a lecture as part of their summer school. So more news on that once nearer the time. I'm hoping to be able to get a little more traction with a couple of other world records, and then I'm gonna look back and go, yay! Now what? Oh, Christmas! And I just want to say this to everyone at Doomsday. If you're listening to this for the first time, this is a stream of consciousness. There's no structure to this, so apologies if it's all over the shop. But if you have listened before, you know that I do enjoy what I do, and it's sometimes it's a pleasure, sometimes it's an annoyance, sometimes it's something else, but I do enjoy working with you guys. I've enjoyed working with every single one of you, and I still want to keep doing that. It's just I need to find a way of doing that without completely screwing everything else up, because as ever, typical Stuart, taken on too much. Yep, there you go, you heard it here first. Stuart finally admits you're doing too much, and that's not a criticism, but it's a criticism of me. It's not a criticism of you guys. It's not a criticism of the people who've said hi. It's just purely that let's look at this month coming up. Hopefully going to be able to make a deal of them next week, going up to the Magic Circle as well. After that, we get a week off, a couple of weeks off. Then we've got Star Wars Celebration, where I will be attempting to roll a frying pan in front of Mark Hamill, if they let me, and get him to autograph that. So that's going to be cool. Then we've got the world record attempts, and that's brilliant. Then we have a pause. Then we have performing at the Dixon. Then we have the upcoming lecture. More news to confirm. Don't count chickens. But there may be something at the Magic Circle just after that. So in a 12-week period, I've got 5 pretty big things, let's be honest. 2 world records, that's defeating the entire population of Earth. 2 of them, going off and trying to do something, a little bit of performance magic in front of Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, kind of cool. Lecturing at the Magic Circle, pinnacle of anyone's career. And performing with the local magic club at the Dixon studio for the 6th time. Again, something very, very important there. And all of that's in a 12-week period. And it's like, that's great. When do we do the shopping? And sorry to take a bit of air out of the pride here. Let's take it down a wee notch. Let's be humble. But that's great. What about the day job? When do you get the other bits done? And it's just a case of learning when things happen. And I'm learning. And that's why I like doing these podcasts. This is why I like saying what I do. It's like I do what I do, because it's as much about confirming what you will think. That has he got a plan? And the answer is yes, I've got a plan. Have I worked out the bits in the middle? No, I'm still making it up as I go. And that's not me trying to be unprofessional. That's not me trying to be cocky or self-assured. That's me being honest. And one week I can be at a magic convention in Whitby, which is fantastic. And hats off to everyone there. Congratulations to Vino on his fantastic win at the Hex Factor. Thank you to Dan Baines for giving me the opportunity to make a wally of myself. Thank you to everyone there, Les Brown, Lars Roth. You are all absolutely fantastic and amazing people, and it's an absolute honour and a pleasure to have met you all. And I know I've not mentioned 40 or 50 other people I should, but my brain's just gone, so I apologise. And equally, tonight we're at the Southend Sorcerers Magical Society watching the stage competition. I should be competing, but I've got a wardrobe malfunction. And for those of you who've seen my strength act, you can guess what that malfunction is. For those of you who haven't seen my strength act, book me. So, again, yet another stream of consciousness. I apologise for this being rambling, but I'm looking forward to catching up with some friends next weekend. I'm looking up to catching up with some friends this weekend. I'm looking forward to trying to book a holiday next year to the US and hopefully make some more friends. And that's where we are. 15 minutes of me going, yeah, everything's awesome. And now we just, like Lego. Lego is awesome, but you do need to have a plan on how to build things afterwards. And that's it. Thank you for listening to the Escapart Podcast. My name's Stuart. I hope this hasn't been too rambling and too boring. But we will be back and next week with an update on where we are with some of the escapology we're performing. Thanks for listening.